Yo, what is up, guys? What is poppin'? We're back with the NPL. It's week 11, the second to last week of the regular season, and we are facing our boy Alpha Drops, aka coach of the Rocky Mountain Marowaks, a longtime friend of mine and very solid player. Even though like he had a lot of trouble this season, I think he's 2-8 as we play, so he's not in playoff contention. But the game is still important for us because if we are able to win out, we are 7-3 right now, then we will be able to secure the number one seed in the conference, and obviously that's the goal because that gives you an easier path through throughout the playoffs. And yeah, I would like to I would like to get the number one seed for that reason because I don't want to play, for example, my boy Sebi or even Professor Chipboard in the first round of playoffs. But we'll see how it goes. Alpha has like a really weird team. Like he has a bunch of threats, like the Coco as you see on the screen, and the Crossman and Nido Queen. Nido Queen I don't have any switching for, pretty much. But he also has like Mega Scepter, which can be a nuisance if he's a mixed set, for example, and makes the right prediction. But I think I built a very strong team versus him, and yeah, we'll hop into it as we speak. So first one I put on the team was a Zapdos. Zapdos is like defensively not great versus him, as you see, like it doesn't check much of one's mons, but Life of Zapdos, which I bring here modest with like I think 180 special attack, actually 2 kills his entire team. Uninvested Coco or close to uninvested Coco, which he would be if he wants to outspeed my Greninja, is 2 KO'd after Rocks by extra sensory. Mandibus drops to Thunderbolt max HP, Necrozma is 2 KO'd guaranteed by Thunderbolt even if he's leftovers. Empoleon drops unless it's Vacana or specially defensive. Nidoqueen takes up to 99% I think from an extra sensory. So after 2 rock switch ins, it's pretty much a guaranteed knockout, or after rocks and a spike, I guarantee a knockout. So this is huge. Gramble drops, depending on the set, to 1 or 2 T-balls after some hazards, so guaranteed 2 KO anyway, so this is nice. As see, I don't bring Gallade to the squad to this match because he has a Mandibuzz, which with Foul Play can just knock me out. It's on the +2. Necrozma is a very solid check. Rambo obviously switches in, and Coco pretty much can knock me out with Backstabbing Beam. But anyway, next I had my Greninja, and with Zapdos he had a solid game plan that I wanted to like try to pull off, and Greninja here will help me that because Greninja packs Spikes, Taunt, Surf, and Dark Bolt. Very solid coverage with my opponent's team, pretty much deals with everything bar the Licky Licky. At the moment I'm very weak to Licky Licky, but I have Toxic on a bunch of mons to deal with that. Zapdos, by the way, is Thunderbolt, extra sensory, Toxic, and Roost, so if he has a Licky Licky I'm always clicking Roost first with this thing to like catch the Licky on the switch in, but he didn't bring it, and this is huge because now his entire squad is 2 KO'd, but it's Zapper. Licky's the only one that can potentially like shoot 2 hits from Zapdos even after spikes, but obviously he gets Toxic and I can easily stall up his heal bath and roost up on Licky Licky, so it's not a really a counter to the Zap. But anyway, Granius has enough speed I think for his next fastest mon, which is Frostless. I want to be able to taunt a Frostless so it can't get up Spike Push me, and I have max HP on this thing with like enough special attack to get some 2 KOs or 3 KOs after rocks, for example. Like I think max HP knows for death Necrozma is 2 KO, but Dark Bolts after Stealth Rocks and leftovers guaranteed or something like that, as well as Nidoqueen drops to Surf after a spike and rocks. I'm fairly sure. And also this Gran is designed to live at least one Sludge Wave from Nidoqueen after rocks, even if he's in like modest life hope. He does 87.4 max I think, and I can always switch in once and like either force him out or just knock him out like with the Surf, or get up another layer so that my Zapdos can sweep more easily. So next up I needed a very reliable rock and the Coco check, and because Coco deals with Zapdos and Gran pretty reliably, I would say, and Pillow-Swine does the job of checking Coco fairly well. And still Adamant can dish out a lot of damage. I have Earthquake, Ice Shot, Toxic, and Stealth Rock. Good thing about Pillow-Swine is against his good defoggers like Mandibuzz and Empoleon, Pillow-Swine like just goes wild. So he's kind of forced to run defog on Coco, because like at least Coco can defog on stuff like Clefable, which always comes in on Manibus. It can defog on a Taunt Grand, it can defog on a Zapdos. So it's like he has a better chance of defogging with the Coco than with the Manibus or the Empoleon. Because like most mons on my spot pressure those two heavily, but Coco forces a lot of switches and allows him to get rid of rocks potentially, so that's important to keep in mind. But obviously Piloswine, unless it's like Z Grassnot or something, can switch him very safely. Like even Specs Grassnot is not a 2 KO unless he gets the rocks, I think, and even then it's a roll. So Piloswine can put in a lot of work here, just spreading toxic around, like getting some chip damage off with EQ, or like picking some stuff off, like a weakened Nidoqueen with the Ice Shot, so that nothing else has to take a big hit from it. Clefable is a Calm Mind variant with Moonblast, Wish, and Protect. And the reason I run Wish Protect over like Softball and Coverage Move for Nidoqueen and Empoleon is that if I get to +2, Empoleon can't beat me anyway, or even a +1, Empoleon can't beat me anyway, because it's like kind of forced to run a more defensive set in my opinion. And Nidoqueen, like I'm never staying in even if I have the coverage for Clefable, for Nidoqueen, unless I'm like at +3 or something. So there was no point. And also Clefable has a Cleric or like mini Cleric with like just a Witch support. It's super important to keep like Piloswine healthy, because if I have to switch into too many U-turns, especially with rocks up, I'm in a bad spot. My mark is an Assault Vest variant with Knockoff Pursuit, Poison Jab, and Clear Smog specifically for Calm Mind Necrozma or First Licky Licky. Like those two, they really appreciate Wish passing. I couldn't afford to bring Alomomola because his biggest offensive threats in Coco and Mega Sepsar really abuse Alomomola and pretty much can claim a kill with the right set, so I didn't feel comfortable bringing Alo to this game. But Clef with the Wish Protect set can scout for Z moves, can scout for potential Specs users or Scarfers, can keep everything healthy, and also like can still beat stuff 1 versus 1, for example like the Necrozma, if it's not a setup variant, because then like just comment up Wish Protect and stall it out of Potent Geysers, for example, and go from there. So Clef, a nice backup win con in the match, but also a very important Cleric, which, looking at my opponent's team, can always come in on the Grand Ball, even if it's banded. I don't think he can 2KO me after Protect, and he can also come in on Mandibus, prevents Mandibus from defogging pretty much. And if he defogs on Mandy, I get it. If he defogs with Mandy, I get a big Moonblast off. But as I said, Coco makes a lot of sense as a defogger too. So last one I have, actually I covered Mark already. Last one that I have is a Flygon, a Scarf Flygon this time, because I felt I needed a reliable Revenger to Coco, as well as like a backup Revenger for Mega Septar, like a weakened Mega Septar, like after 2 rock switches or something, can't take a Dragon Claw. I think I'm Earthquake, U-turn, Dragon Claw, and Defog. Emergency Defog because I don't want my opponents to get up spikes on me with Frostlass, which he didn't bring thankfully, but also because I might need to defog rocks on my side away for Zapdos to have another switch and get a free roost off on something like a bulky Gramble or Mandibus, for example. So defog was really important here in case I can't play correctly around his rockers and allow him to get a free rock. So let's run into the game, I would say. I lead off with my Zapdos because I think it just matches up amazingly versus everything. I really expected one of his 3 rockers to be a lead. If he leads Coco, I pretty much force him to U-turn or Volt Switch, because like he has like no reason to T-Bolt the Zapdos, so I can just go hard Piloswine. Even if he like U-turns out, he goes into Gramble probably, and like can't really do too much with his Piloswine, so I can't get on my rocks if he leads Coco. And if he leads off with Necrozma, Empoleon, or Nidoqueen, I can just attack him, knock out Empoleon, have a chance at like flinching or like just getting big damage off on Nidoqueen. Nidoqueen, in my opinion, the biggest threat to my squad because it deals with my defensive core so well. So I figured I I like to be in a solid spot versus Nidoqueen, and if he leaves Necrozma, I'm just like toxic in this thing. Even though he could he could use toxic myself, but I don't really care. I want Necrozma toxic in case he is like a super annoying Carmine variant or something like that. But I also could have played with Greninja, but I figured like Greninja is like in a little bit of a tougher spot versus, for example, a Granbull lead, which is not common, but he could do it like just to counter lead, for example, a lead Flygon or a lead Gran, which would make sense, or even a lead Piloswine to get the Intimidator off first before he goes, for example, into Mandibuzz or Necrozma, because an Intimidated Piloswine, if you predict that to be a lead, he can't do KO Mandibuzz with Ice Crash. So I lead Zapdos as my pawn leads, and on this turn already I'm like, ooh, I really wanna extra sensory here, but like I don't think he would throw away his Empoleon here. Like I don't think he would stay in and take a T-Ball, because I have two potential Defoggers on the squad, and the only reason I would bring Flygon probably is to have a backup Defogger on the team. So I was like fairly sure he would switch out, but I figured he could make a mid-ground play and go into Necrozma or something. So I didn't lose much by T-Bolting. Even if he goes Nidoqueen, I would just fire off an extra sensor on the next turn and be in a good spot, because getting damage off on Nidoqueen is crucial, so that it can't break my core. So I just go for T-Bot as he makes the play into Nidoqueen. I just click extra sensor immediately as he makes a good play, switching out into his Empoleon. Probably expecting me to go into Piloswine, which looks like my best counter at the moment, but also in case of like a potential Greninja switch-in, I would say, if I'm like a bulky Gren and like want to go for the offensive switch-in, that would have been his play, like because Greninja and Piloswine both cover the Ice Beam, which could have come out, like Empoleon covered those two fairly well, so it would have been a nice play on his part. But I just click extra sense to get 18% off, and that puts him in guaranteed range of T-Bot, because that shows he has most of the investment. Just get chip off with the Aqua Jet, because he's forced to stack them on here pretty much, unless he wants to go Coco and take a million. Goes Coco now, and I'm like, he probably wants to Volt Switch or U-turn here. I could risk up unless he specs. He can't Oko me with Volt Switch, but I figured, yeah, I don't really need to play it risky, because I think he needed a max roll with Volt Switch, because I'm actually at 62 point something, and 62.5 was like a magnet timid Coco max roll, and I didn't want to risk it, so I go into my Piloswine. He actually goes for the Volt Switch. That works out great for me, as I'm able to get up a Toxic here first, because I figured Necrozma or Mandibuzz would be nice switch-ins. Like Mandibuzz not really, because like Ice Crash is the thing, but Mandibuzz, depending on my investment, can wall me and like roost on me a little, so I kind of want to go for Toxic to catch potential Necrozma, and also potential Granbull switch and force him pretty much to heal by it if he has it. Because like if I get on my rocks and he goes hard Necrozma, I'm forced to take damage to Toxic, and I didn't want to do that. So here I get on my rocks, and he healed by Assault, so it works out nicely. I go into my Clef here. I don't really have the best Granbull switch-ins, but Clef lets him scout for his investment. He definitely shows to be max HP and like probably max defense, which he will show off later in the game. But this player of damage tells me that he has no attack investment, and he actually, like, I think he got a max roll with the player up, so I wasn't sure if he had like some investment, but I figured he was close to no investment, so the Granbull can for example switch into my Mega Gallade, so Clef here pretty free to just come in and like shoot a hit. And now I pull a switch out back to my Zapdos and Greninja. I think in my Zapdos, because I expect him to switch out into Nidoqueen and I want to pressure it, so I get another extra sensory off here as he switches into Necrozma. Smart play. I could have like made a play and go and pull like a triple switch into my Gran, but I felt like getting chip on Necrozma and scouting set would be nice, and I do 17.6%, which is a big amount, and that tells me he's max HP but has no Spadef. So his team looks to be no Spadef on anymore, which is absolutely perfect for Zapdos. Here I could stay in, but I have no reason to sack my Zapdos to a opponent, guys. I still don't know if he's like max HP, max special attack, or if he's like just bulky. I figured bulky would be nice for him to have a backup check to Mega Galliot, as well as like he has the Tanga Berry for my Scolipede. So I get a Gran on the Photon Geyser, nice read there, and I'm able to get up a Spike here. I didn't know if Gramble was a switch in there. I figured he would go into Mandibus to try and defog, but as I said, he didn't have defog. Oh no, I didn't say that yet, but you will later reveal if he didn't have defog on Mandibus. So I get up a Spike, and Gramble comes back in, and I'm like trying to play away now as I go into my Clefable on the player up. He misses actually, and I'm trying to like play in a way that Mandibus doesn't get a free defog off, because I'm still thinking it could be a defogger, because he hasn't shown a tendency of running defog Coco this season, even though I think it's good versus me. I don't really expect it at this point. So this miss is really huge for him, because had he hit this player up, he pretty much forced me to recover here on this next turn, and then like have a free switch into Mandibus to get a defog off, and knowing that I'm probably a bulky Clefable after the like player up damage earlier, he knows that he can potentially shoot 2 Moonblasts. So Mandibus would have been a kind of free switch there with the player up hitting, but he sadly misses. But I think this time I just wish up, yeah, expecting like Nidoqueen to come in. I don't really mind Nidoqueen coming in. I know I can go into my Gran, live any hit, and if he gets up his rocks, he gets up his rocks. Like I can defog them away later. My Zap is still in a solid amount of health, where it can potentially boost up on the Gramble as well as the Mandibus. So getting my Gran as he fires off Sludge Bomb, he's definitely modest life up. So he does 88.1. So what I said in the beginning was wrong. I actually designed this Gran to live a Sludge Wave from full, not off the rock. So I think when I counted, it told me like 87 to 98% or something. So my bad on this one. But Gran still shooting the Sludge Wave and getting back to 75% with the nice lefties here. Shout out to Gypsy King, the gold Gran set. I'm putting in a lot of work. And now like I'm kind of free to fire off the Surf or switch out again. But I think I just go for the Surf, because he showed that he wants to go into Gramble. If he goes into Mandy, I can just taunt it in. But he decides to go into Coco, and I do 54%. And it's nice damage. And like, the only reason he would go hard Coco was to defog here. So now I know he's defog, but I go into my Pillow Swine and I just get up my Rocks back again, knowing that he... Now I go for the Ice Shot here because... No, that's another term, my bad. I go for the Stealth Rocks here on his Necrozma, and then go back into my Gran, finally predicting to go Rocks, but he actually reveals Flash Skin. So he's revealed Flash Skin and Photon Geyser. I think he has to have the Earth Power to deal with my Muk, so I figured his last move is a recovery move, which means this is not his Rock, and I probably killed his Rock at Napoleon, so this lets me play way more freely here, because that means my Zapdos is not pressured by Rocks as much, and pretty much claims to kill it whenever it comes in. So now I go for the Dark Pulse here, trying to get some more chip on this Necrozma, even if he like has like a Charge Beam in Electric Terrain here, he needs a roll to knock me out, I think, unless he's invested in Special Attack. I go for Dark Pulse here on this Gramble, and now I'm in a terrific spot, because now what I think is his best play here definitely is to pull a double switch into Nidoqueen to at least get a kill versus my team, or like to double switch into Mandibus or Coco to not into Mandibus, but double switch into Coco to get the Rocks away once more, and like, or fire off a Z-move or something. I don't think Flare Up is play, because that just invites into the Fable, which means I can just fire off a Wish or a Moonblast to get some more chip on the Nidoqueen, and it would just like put him overall not in a good spot. And also if I just stay in and surf him, he gets low, he gets to like 20% or 15%, I don't know. And that also means that he knocks me out, but that means my Zapdos can come in and claim a kill. So I go for the surf, as he actually decides to stay and lets me get big chip, like 44% as you see here, on this Gramble. And now like there was no drawback play, because I don't really need the Spike, so if he defogs, like I don't need my Spiker alive. And I feel like Zapdos now pretty much wins on its own. Like if Necrozma comes in, I have a shot at knocking him out with the T-Bolt. I would never risk it, obviously, but I could just like go hard into Muk, pursue it, and pretty much then win with my with my Zapdos plus my Flygon because like or my Piloswine because then Coco only has one defog left and can't touch Piloswine and shit like that. So I knock out the Grand Ball here with the T-Ball, and now I'm pretty sure I win this game guaranteed. He goes into Coco. I figure he will go for the defog here, but I just go back into my Piloswine still. It really doesn't matter. I go for the Ice Shot here trying to pick him off because I think like he doesn't want to switch out, preserving it as fodder because like he probably needs some damage on this Piloswine to probably revenge it with this thing on Nidoqueen, but he actually decides to switch out to his Necrozma, but every chip on Necrozma is a nice chip. He goes for a Flash Cannon, not knowing that Falling Geyser probably did more to me, actually. But I can go for the Toxic and then get up my rocks. I don't really need Piloswine for more because my Mach is still at full health, so I can't shoot a hit from Nidoqueen, and I'm like playing this endgame as safely as possible. Can go into my Mach now on the next Flash Cannon to save my Piloswine for a potential Ice Shot on the weakened Nidoqueen. Now I can just knock out this this thing. He goes for the Earth Power and leaves me at 65%, which means I live guaranteed an Earth Power from Nidoqueen and can go for the knockoff on this turn. So Thingy comes in, go for the knock, get rid of his life orb. He can knock me out on this turn with the Earth Power, but now this means guaranteed to Zapdos sweep because again, extra sensory now, then Coco's Death to Rocks and Manibus drop. So Zapdos will pick up this game here. I actually misclick on this next turn with my Zap. As you see, I misclick extra sensory, but he just goes for the roost. So I have a free roost on my own because if he is knockoff and Wakanberry, he can like potentially win this game even. It's like knockoff taunt, Wakanberry, and some roost and like, some coverage for Clef or something. But I can like guaranteed knock out this Manibus with the T-Ball that Coco dies to rock. So this is gonna be GG Itazaki once again. Nice game. Very proud of the Zapdos set and how much work it put in. So yeah, good game to Alpha. Another tough loss for him, but his matchup was really bad for me because with mons like Mandibus, Grand Bull, Necrozma, he had to account for my Mega Galette, my Scolipede, which are huge threats to his team, and he was like, there was no way he could conceivably like or convincingly prep for offensive Zapdos, offensive Grand, offensive Flygon, Carmine Clef, some Curse Max, plus Mega Galette, plus Scolipede with an entire squad, so he was doomed from the beginning. Like he had to read pretty much that I wouldn't bring Galette and Scolipede to have a shot at winning this game, in my opinion. So he shouldn't be too mad about losing that one. But this puts us at 8-3 with a nice clean plus 27 differential. So one more win in the week 12 versus Mr. Murkrow, and we will be able to clinch the #1 seed in our conference guaranteed. So this is nice, definitely. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Leave a like and a comment if you enjoyed, and I catch you in the next video. See ya.